Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, Text number 13. Tatraiva me viharato bhujadanda yugmam Gandiva lakshana marati vadaya devaha Sendraha shrita yadanubhavita majamida Tenaha madhyamushita purushena bhumna. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Translation. When I stayed for some days as a guest in the heavenly planets, all the heavenly demigods, including King Indra, took shelter of my arms, which were marked with the Gandiva bow, to kill the demon named Nivata Kavacha. O King, descendant of Ajamida, at the present moment I am bereft of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by whose influence I was so powerful. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The heavenly demigods are certainly more intelligent, powerful and beautiful, and yet they had to take help from Arjuna because of his Gandiva bow, which was empowered by the grace of Lord Sri Krishna. The Lord is all powerful, and by His grace, His pure devotee can be as powerful as he may desire, and there is no limit to it. And when the Lord withdraws His power from anyone, he is powerless by the will of the Lord. Just before, a few weeks before Janmashtami, when we were inviting people for the celebrations, people started telling, Prabhuji, third wave is expected very soon. So we are not sure whether we can allow public to enter temple on that day. Fortunately, there is no third wave during Janmashtami. And again they said, Prabhuji, certainly by the end of September, all scientists have predicted. So we are all preparing. September hoya, nothing happened. Prabhuji, by Dasara, definitely. Fortunately, nothing has happened. And people started telling, I think this third wave is a false alarm. There's nothing called third wave. And then WHO issues an advisory that corona wave might be there till the end of 2022. And US was celebrating that, okay, almost everyone is vaccinated. And again, the new report says even the second dosage will not protect one from the new variant. So they're contemplating on the third dosage. So much of uncertainty. And nobody can say what will happen when. So by this, one thing is very, very clear. There is someone else who is controlling. There is someone else who is directing. There is someone else who is deciding. So there is some superior authority. That is very evident from the uncertainties that you see in this world. Here in this shloka, Arjuna is recognizing that supreme authority or the supreme power is Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Arjuna is saying here that how when he went to the heavenly planets, even the great king Indra, he was so powerful, took his shelter because he had Gandiva bow, and Gandiva was empowered by Krishna. And in the purport, Prabhupada says, the Lord is all powerful and he can empower anybody. And if Lord empowers someone, there is no limit to his success. It doesn't depend on his background. It doesn't depend on the individual capacity. If Lord empowers, he will succeed. At the same time, if the Lord withdraws, however powerful one might be, he becomes powerless. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 9th canto, there is a description of Ramayana. There it is described that when Ramachandra went to Lanka to rescue Sita, Ramarasena, his soldiers, were monkeys. Because Lord was in the forest and there were abundant monkeys there, so they followed him. And these monkeys were, how can you expect monkeys to fight a war? They don't know how to hold a weapon, no physical strength, not trained. On the other hand, Ravanasura's army, it had a lot of horses, chariots, infantry, camels, and well-trained soldiers with modern weapons. They're all strong and stout. And these monkeys, they had stones and the barks of trees or the branches of trees. In spite of this, they could easily defeat the Ravana Sena. Why? Because they were empowered by the Lord. In the purport, Prabhupada mentions there are two ways of acquiring strength. One is called Daivam, that is by the blessings of the Lord, by the blessings of transcendence. And second is Purushakara. This is strength gained by one's own hard work, by one's own power, by one's own intelligence. It is said, if there is a fight between Daiva and Purushakara, Daiva will always succeed because Daiva is empowered by Lord. The beauty in Daiva is it doesn't depend on your previous qualification. All it matters is whether the Lord has empowered you or not. This is the power of Daiva. That is why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmara yudhyacha. You should do your duty, your spiritual duties, your official duties, your duties at home. You should do it. And then for results, for success, you have to depend on the Lord. You have to await what Lord has decided. Because finally the results are awarded by Lord and our capacity is only to perform our duty. Not only devotees, the Lord is so powerful that He empowers even objects. In Bhagavatam Dashamaskanda, there is description of Lord Balarama visiting Naimisharanya. So Naimisharanya is the place where the sages, the brahmanas, the scholars, they all assemble. They discuss spiritual subject matter, discuss about self-realization. They have conferences on how to make the society Krishna conscious. So during one of such conferences, Lord Balarama had also made a visit. When he entered, all the sages, the brahmanas and the scholars, everyone got up and they offered their respects. And there were certain senior sages who got up as a mark of respect, and then they wished and they blessed Balarama. And they all gave a proper seating for Balarama. There is one devotee of Vyasadeva by name Roma Harshana Suta. He was very learned in Shastras, and he was sitting on a special seating called Vyasasana. And when Balarama came, he didn't get up as a mark of respect. Somehow he was very puffed up. Although he is so exalted, when it comes to Supreme Lord, everyone have to bow. They have to accept that he is superior. And Balarama had made a note of it. He also observed that neither he was by birth superior, nor by spiritual qualification superior. Although he was very learned in Shastras, he didn't develop the good qualities of a Vaishnava. He was not gentle. He was not meek and humble. So Balarama thought, without realization, without development of good qualities, externally posing as a learned man, it is like the decoration of a snake. When you keep a pearl on the snake, what will the snake do? It will continue its business of biting. And that's when Balarama thought, I have come here to establish religious principles. And he wants to make sure that all those who pose themselves as learned but internally they're impure, he wants to make sure such people are punished. So in order to set a right example, Lord Balarama decided to kill Romaharshana Suta. So there was a kusha grass nearby. He took that grass and he just chopped off his neck. Now you might wonder, how can a grass act like a sword? That is because Balarama empowered it. Supreme Lord is omnipotent. There are no material laws who are not subservient to the Supreme Lord. It was the Lord who decided this is grass, but it will become sword. It become in that second. So this is the power of empowerment. And this empowerment, you might wonder, alright, there is Supreme Lord, this Vanarasena was with the Lord, and they were directly in touch with the Lord. How about we? Fortunately, we have Srila Prabhupada, who have all the quality to empower us to achieve success in spiritual life. Prabhupada is, or the spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master, is the Shaktyavesha avatar of Krishna. Krishna has invested all his powers in Prabhupada, and then Prabhupada has the autonomy to empower us so that we can grow spiritually. There's an interesting incident that happened during the time of Prabhupada in 1970s or so, when he visited Russia for the first time. In 1970s, Russia was ruled by communist Soviet Union, and they were against any religious propaganda or religious practices. When Prabhupada landed in Russia, I think he was there hardly for 3 days, and there was strict vigilance. There was always a government escort to make sure that he doesn't preach, there is no public address, and very, very tough vigilance was there. And by the will of Lord, when devotees were they were just there in Moscow, they met a localite by name Ivan. In Moscow, there is a famous place called Red Square. The devotees were just there walking, and by chance they met this Ivan. He is a young Russian. And the Ivan got attracted to the shaven heads, and he started conversing with them. And the devotees got Ivan to meet Srila Prabhupada. And in the first meeting itself, Prabhupada told Ivan about the soul concept, how he is beyond this body is like the dress, and many other very profound concepts. And he even started teaching cooking to Ivan. And Ivan was so attracted. And it was just 3 days Prabhupada was there. And before leaving, they gifted Bhagavad Gita as it is to Ivan. And Prabhupada left. And this Ivan started reading Bhagavad Gita as it is. And his heart was transformed. He started chanting. He read more books of Prabhupada. And then he worked hard to establish this Krishna consciousness movement in Russia. You can see here, all of us might be wondering that many years we are practicing Prabhuji. Just 2 days, 3 days, Prabhupada met somebody for 3 years. How is that transformation possible? Yes, that is possible because Prabhupada had empowered him. This is the power of empowerment. And it is completely under the discretion of the Lord and His pure devotees. There is no rule whom the Lord will empower, whom the devotee will empower. And of course, we have to show our sincerity, but it completely under the discretion of pure devotee and the Lord. That is why Sanjaya speaks in Bhagavad Gita. In the last shloka of Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdaraha, Tartashir Vijayo Bhutir, Dhruvanitir Matir Mama. Wherever there is Krishna, or the holy names of Lord Krishna is chanted, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And wherever there are Lord Krishna's devotees, who practice the principles of Gita, who carry Krishna in their heart, wherever there is Krishna, the holy name is chanted, and wherever there are devotees, there is opulence, there is victory, and there is morality. So this is guaranteed. This is guaranteed. Now we heard about empowerment, Lord, pure devotees. Having said all this, what happened in Bangladesh a few days back is very tragic. And Krishna promises in Bhagavad Gita that Kaunteya, O Arjuna, Kaunteya me prachijanati name bhaktya pranashyati. My devotee will never perish. O Arjuna, declare it to the world. My devotee will never perish. This is the statement of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. And we all saw that how powerful is devotee and Lord's empowerment. And unfortunately, 2 devotees had to die. Then how to understand this? On one side, Krishna is assuring protection. The statement of Gita is there. On the other side, there's death of devotees. Shastras say, when we are all born, we come with a baggage. That baggage is called karma. So, according to the kala, according to time, we experience pleasure, we experience pain. This law of nature is quite complicated for us to understand. But under the supervision of the Lord, it's happening perfectly. You never know when sukha will come. There appears to be stability. All of a sudden you will see instability. You never thought last year in the month of January that there will be a lockdown from March. You never had any idea. Nobody in the world had any idea. See, the stable month was January. Suddenly there was so much of instability. So this is the work of Kala, and that Kala is Krishna. That is his game plan. And according to Kala, sometimes the demons will become very powerful. Sometimes the devotees will become very powerful. When Hiranyaksha was born, Hiranyakashipu was born, there's so much of commotion. Hiranyaksha became so powerful that he took out earth from its orbit. So much of commotion he created. That is the power. And Lord himself has to come as Varaha Swami to kill him and save the earth. That was the power of Hiranyaksha. And you might wonder, why Prabhuji, we are all chanting 16 rounds, we recognize Krishna as Lord. Why there is so much of miseries? The nature of world is such that every moment there is danger. This is Kunta. That is why Krishna is saying, I did not ask you to come to this Kunta. You are all enjoying with me in Vaikunta, which was free from miseries. Vaikunta is the only place you are free from miseries. In Vaikunta, there is no Rajoguna. That's why there is no need to construct. Everything eternally remains. There is no Tamoguna, so there is no destruction. No gunas act. No time can act, so there is no past, present and future. So you never grow old there. No time, nothing can act. That is Vaikunta, free from all miseries. As long as you are in this world, there will be miseries. Because we have chosen here. And that is why these upheavals happen by the will of Lord. This is the place for demons. Because they don't have place in Vaikunta, they are sent here. And sometimes by the will of Lord, they become powerful. Not beyond a point. If they trouble devotees too much, then Lord will come and clear their appearance. That is always there. But temporary you will see, it appears that they'll exist eternally and they are very powerful. That is the law of nature. It's a reality that we have to accept. Even in Bhagavatam, there are numerous examples where Lord Krishna even physically protected a few devotees, and some devotees he did not physically protect. The example is Prahalad. When Prahalad was thrown from the hilltop, it was sure that he was supposed to die, but Krishna protected him even physically. He made elephants trample on Prahalad so that there is immediate death. But Prahalad was saved. Prahalad was put in a well with most poisonous snakes. In spite of biting by the snakes, he survived. See, Lord decided to even protect his body. But after the end of his life, Prahalad went back to Godhead. And there is example of Jatayu. Jatayu, as a seva to the Lord, as service to the Lord, it went to save Sita. And the wings were cut and killed by Ravanasura. And Jatayu also went back to Godhead. See, either you survive, you do good devotional service to the end of life, or Krishna physically protects you, you go back to Godhead. Or you do a devotional service, in the process of devotional service you give up your life. We have the example of Jatayu who went back to Godhead. So it is completely under the control of the Lord. Lord's plan is, we can't determine, it is His will. But one thing is very certain, Lord Krishna will protect our devotional service. Lord Krishna will protect our soul. Swalpamapi asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even a little endeavor in this path, Krishna says, I will protect your devotional service. That promise Krishna gives. Now, when it comes to body, it is up to Him. We don't know what is His plan. So everything happens according to plan of the Lord. But what is important for all of us is, having got this body, either in a favorable or a unfavorable situation, are we practicing devotional service? That's very important. Just living for 100 years with nice bodily protection is not very important. What's important is, are we practicing devotional service? In the US, in California, there are redwood forest. There's a place called Yosemite. It's a national park, and you'll see a very huge trees, tall trees with, it has stem with really big trees, redwood trees, and people go all over the world just to see this. They say these trees are 800 years, 1000 year old. Imagine it is 1000 year old, what all the trees have seen. Right from the industrial revolution, the change of the world, change of the birth and death of many civilizations, and then scientific community, and then globalization. It is even seeing the internet world. But what is the use? It's just a tree. Shastras say what's important, that's why it's not how well you lived. What's important is how well you utilize your time to practice devotional service, to how well you utilize your time to grow spiritually. This is very important. That is why we should constantly do our duty of chanting, do our practices as directed in the scriptures under the guidance of spiritual master. The spiritual master guidance is very, 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 very important. The moment we start following the bona fide spiritual master, then we become eligible to receive the empowerment by Lord. Spiritual master is very, very dear to Lord. As I told you, he is the mercy incarnation of Krishna. He is very close associate of Krishna. The many secrets which a spiritual master can reveal, not all of us can know the secrets. By reading books, by our personal endeavor, many things might not be disclosed. That is why every person has a relationship with some people officially and some family members personally. With family members, with wife, children, you are a different man. Your likes and dislikes are known to them. When you have an official relationship, you can't make out much unless that person reveals. So spiritual master is personally connected to Krishna. So he will know a lot of secrets. Just to give one example, every day we worship Tulasi. We always see Tulasi even during chanting. We have Tulasi Mala, we chant on Tulasi Mala. We have Kanti Mala around our neck. So what is the greatness of Tulasi? Scientists say it is just a medicinal plant. Even the so-called Hindus also, they say it has a lot of antiseptic properties. That's what I was taught when I was young. Oh, we are all Hindus. We should have Tulasi plant because it has a lot of antiseptic properties. Very scientific. So every day I used to see Tulasi. Yes, I am a Hindu. I am proud to have it. It has antiseptic properties. What should I do? Pluck and eat it. But that is not the way to take the benefit of Tulasi. And the Shastras describe. Gautamiya Purana says, Tulasi dala matrena jalasya chulukena va vikrinite swamatmanam bhaktebhyo bhaktavatsalaha. That Bhaktavatsala, Supreme Lord, that Krishna, who is very, very dear to his devotees, vikrinite, he sells himself to the devotees. Swamatmanam, himself to the when you offer him with love, tulasi dala and water. Such powerful is Tulasi Devi. That is why every day we bow to her and we pray. Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavate Namo Namaha. You have the power to gift us Krishna Bhakti. You have the power to fulfill all our spiritual desires. Tara Vancha Purna Hoy. All our spiritual desires she can satisfy. You want to chant, you want to do good chanting. Yes, you can seek her blessings. You serve her by watering her, by doing arti to her, by circumambulating her. She can bless us with Krishna Bhakti. She has that power. What to speak of devotees? Even she has the power to purify even the contaminated spiritualist. You know, there are a class of spiritualists who believe that Supreme Lord is formless. He doesn't have a form, he's just a light, and you go and you merge and you also lose your identity, and this is the goal of life. Somehow they have this contaminated spiritual consciousness. And it is very easy to teach a person who appears before you like a clean slate. Easy to write. But if something is written on the slate, you have to erase it and then write good things. So Tulasi is so powerful, even such contaminated spiritualists she can purify. There is a beautiful example given in Bhagavatam of 4 Kumaras who are all great impersonalists, and when they smelt the aroma of Tulasi, something happened. Tasya ravindana yanasya padaravinda. The Supreme Lord, whose eyes are as beautiful as petals of lotus flower, Supreme Lord's lotus feet, padaravinda, even his feet is tender like a lotus flower, kinjal kamishra tulasi. His lotus feet is decorated with kinjalka, the saffron, and the sandalwood paste mixed with tulasi. If you see our Krishna Chandra, you see his lotus feet is nicely decorated with tulasi leaves that is mixed with saffron and sandalwood paste. So Lord's feet is decorated with tulasi. Makaranda Vayuhu, the aroma of the tulasi that was offered to the Lord, when antargataha, when it entered swavivarena, through the nostrils, chakaratesham, through the nostrils of these 4 Kumaras, samshobham, there was an agitation to change. Akshara Jusham, they were attached to impersonalism. They thought Lord is not a person. There's no point in devotional service. Bhakti Yoga is meaningless, they were thinking. Akshara Jusham, apichitta tanvoho. The agitation was, they accepted the Supreme Lord as a person. All this impersonalist conception, they came out and they accepted Supreme Lord as a person, and they embraced Bhakti Yoga. See, this is the power of Tulasi. In fact, it is said that in whichever house Tulsi grows well, it signifies that there is good devotional atmosphere there. Because Tulasi thrives on devotion. Such a wonderful thing. And these secrets can be revealed by a pure devotee like Prabhupada. That is why Shastras say, you have to study scriptures and apply scriptures under the direction of spiritual master. And Prabhupada is so merciful, he has given us regulative principles, which are very simple, very practical, and he has formed his ISKCON, he has formed his devotees, so that you'll all get association and you get proper direction and how to practice these regulative principles in a joyful way. Now all of us may be practicing very sincerely, but sometimes, we become little complacent. We take little lightly. When you are asked to do japa, you do japping. What is japping? Japa sleeping. So take it lightly. All right, somehow Hare Krishna mantra you chant. And, it is said when you want to do your japa, you should do at your best time, when you are fully alert, because you have to give your attention energy. You have to put lot of effort to do nice japa. So, and sometimes, when it comes to service, when it comes to devotees, we take little lightly. And sometimes, there will be so much of difficulties, we'll not have time for doing japa. Or sometimes there is so much of happiness, so much of success. Okay, today let me enjoy. And we try to postpone our certain practices. Or try to, maybe we may not finish our committed rounds or committed service hours that we planned. Very, very important that we follow these things very seriously. And for us to be serious in spiritual life, Bhaktivedanta Thakur, he gives us a very interesting instruction. He says, you should be very careful with the daughter of time. The daughter of time will destroy all our plans for enjoying materially. And it is said that daughter of time is the most unfortunate daughter. And who is this daughter of time? Jara, old age. Old age is the daughter of time. It is said that when your body becomes old, it loses all the power to enjoy materially. We can't. And Bhagavatam gives the example of Yayati. Yayati was a great king. He married the daughter of Shukracharya. And along with the daughter of Shukracharya, her friend Sharmishta also came. And Yayati became attached to the Sharmishta. And this news reached Shukracharya. And Shukracharya cursed Yayati to embrace old age. Yayati was very perturbed. He wanted to enjoy materially. He knows that his senses are useless. And by the goodwill of his youngest son Puru, they exchanged the youth and old age. He made Puru the king of the, of his entire kingdom. But Kuru could not enjoy because, old age, he lost all the power to enjoy. That is why Bhaktivedanta Thakur says, we should not wait for old age to come to practice Krishna consciousness. Generally we think when we become old, when I become retired, I'll have a lot of time, I have no office, I do my japa. It is not true. At that time your senses also becomes weak. Your power of thinking comes down. It will be difficult to understand the spiritual subject matter. That is why the recommendation is you should start spiritual practices not at 60 but at the age of 5, Kaumara. You should start, and whatever practice you sustained till 60, that will continue. That will continue after 60. So we should always be aware of the temporary nature of this world. If you think that there's a lot of joy, material success, it's the question of time. Jara will come, it's over. And that should inspire us to be serious in spiritual life and seriously practice the regulative principles as given by Shastras, as directed by spiritual master. That is why somebody asked Prabhupada, how long will it take to become a pure devotee? Prabhupada says 1 minute or millions of years. It all depends on your seriousness. He says our movement is so powerful, our practices are so powerful that 1 minute is enough to make us pure. But it is completely at the mercy of our free will. Even you are serious. First thing is you are very sincere in practicing. Now you become very serious in spite of all these things. You're decided to practice seriously. There is one more Shakti of Maya called Prakshepatmika Shakti, which always tries to pull you down. And that Shakti, the Prakshepatmika Shakti, Maya Shakti, can come in any form. It can come in the form of social media also. Especially nowadays, that Instagram reels are very, very famous. There is one Bollywood song and different people starts dancing to that song and people are very interested to seeing this. Any youngster, anybody who has some free time, they want to see the reels. And all these reels, people give one message. What is that? Love yourself. Love yourself. That's why they want to show their, Instagram or in YouTube nowadays, they want to show what is happening at home. For example, husband and wife pranks become very famous. Wife is sleeping, husband takes a bucket of water, pours on her. And she gets up, "Hey kutte, what are you doing?" So that is captured in camera. "Oh, it's a prank, it's a prank." And that gets lakhs of views. And people across the world are waiting to see these pranks. And we also sometimes, okay, let us see how Maya Shakti is there in the world. Let me see 1 or 2 pranks. And by mistake, you press the subscribe button and you keep on getting notifications. And we also get allured by that. There's every chance, especially through social media. That is why Krishna advises in Bhagavad Gita, 6th chapter. He says, "Sa nishchayena yuktavyo yogo nirvinna chetasa." This bhakti yoga has to be practiced with strong determination and faith. You should have strong determination. If there is no determination, it's very difficult beyond a point. Initially, anything new, you feel very enthused. And after few months, few years, when you're used to it, you take it very lightly. And there's so many allurements for devotees. So you chant Hare Krishna Mata, you get relief. With that relief, some people want to take that calm mind for sense gratification. Again, you go to the world, do gratification, get disturbed, come back home, again chant, again get relief, again go back, again do gratification, come back. This cycle goes on. Madhu Pandit Prabhu says, it's like you're drying the wood by chanting, by gratification, you're like pouring water. So what is the use? So when that feeling of goodness that you get while chanting, you should use that to do service. That is why you should have strong determination for Bhakti Yoga. And then, Anirvinna Chetasa, without deviation. Without deviation from the principles as given by Shastras. That's very important. And there's no time for testing. No time for test drive. Spiritual test drive is not possible. Time is very less and so much of danger is there. We don't know where this corona will take us. We don't know what will be our financial complications. So now we have energy. Let's take it and let's become pure devotees. I was telling you about Instagram statements of love yourself. Actually, we have no problem with these statements. Love yourself. But you should know what is the true self. We agree with them. But please don't mistake your true self to the body. No. If you identify or if you love your identity as servant of Krishna, as spirit souls and servant of Krishna, if you love this identity, then absolutely no problem. with this identity, please use your Instagram, use your social media handles to promote Krishna consciousness. Absolutely no problem. We had wonderful Kirtan March yesterday. In all your Instagrams, please show it live. In all your Facebook, show it live. Absolutely no problem. But it should be centered around Krishna. This is very important. Now, once you are empowered, we are speaking of empowerment. Once you are empowered, that opulence to a devotee gifted by the Lord, it will stay permanently. It will stay with you permanently. Unlike this material world. There was a newspaper report which said the moment the chief minister stepped down, the next day there were no people in the house, empty house. See how the reputation, it was so high when there was power, and next day the power came down, the reputation came down. This is the nature of the world. But an opulence given to a devotee, it will stay forever. There's a beautiful example of Madhavendra Puri in this regard. Many of you know the story. I like to very briefly say. Madhavendra Puri, he traveled from Vrindavan to Jagannath Puri to get nice sandalwood so that he can make nice paste for his Lord Gopala in Govardhan. On the way, he stopped at Remuna. In Remuna, there is Gopinath deity, and he knew that the prasadam offering standards are very high. Very high quality food is offered there. So after having the darshan, he was talking to the head pujari, and he was asking, what kind of foodstuffs you offer so that I can offer the same thing to my Lord? Then he was describing, you see, every evening we offer kheer in 12 earthen pots, and it tastes like amruta, it's nectar. And this is so nice that nowhere in the world you can find such high quality kheer. Nobody can make this. And it is famous here as Gopinatha Shira. And as he's describing, one more pujari takes this 12 pots to offer it to the Lord. And then Madhavendra Puri, he got a thought. Maybe without me asking if they can give me a little morsel of that sweet rice, I will taste this and I can make the same thing for my Lord. And then he thought, oh, how can I think like this? Offering is going on. How did such thoughts come in my mind? And he just leaves the place, and then offering was done, and then the pujari closes the altar. In the dream, the Lord appears and he says, I have stolen 5 pots of sweet rice for Madhavendra Puri, please give it to him. And pujari gets up. It's a dream. He freshens up, goes to the temple, opens the door, goes near the altar. To surprise, he finds those 5 pots that was stolen for Madhavendra Puri. He takes those pots, he goes to the marketplace, he starts shouting, who's this Madhavendra Puri? Who's this great devotee Madhavendra Puri? The Lord himself has stolen these pots for you. And the Madhavendra Puri recognizes himself and he relishes. And then the pujari says, Lord, please wait, please wait. I want to tell people how great you are. Lord himself was stolen. Please stay here, I'll come back when he leaves. Generally, what will be our response? Oh, glorification. I will wait, definitely. Let's have a very good ceremony. Why not? Get all people. My talk, my this thing, circulate in WhatsApp. Let's do. Happy. That's generally our thought. But what did Madhavendra Puri do? He, Chaitanya Charitamrita describes, Chali Chali Aila Puri Shri Nila Chala. Madhavendra Puri first he ran away. Oh my God, there is glorification now, the recognition. No. So he ran. He walked and reached Jagannath Puri. And then he had the darshan of Jagannath. Jagannatha Deka Haila Premeta Vihvala. When he saw the deities, he was overwhelmed with spiritual ecstasy. And then what happened? Preme vashe, uthe, pade, hase, nache, gaye. In that ecstasy, sometimes uthe, he got up. Pade, sometimes he sat down. Hase, he was laughing. Nache, he was dancing. And gaye, he was singing. Jagannatha darshane maha sukhapaya. In that ecstatic mood, when he saw the darshan of Jagannath, oh, he felt the highest transcendental bliss. Madhava Puri Sripada Aila Loke Haila Khyati. But in Puri, people knew that he was a great devotee. Sabaloka Asi Tanre Kare Bahu Bhakti. So everybody assembled there and they offered their respects to Madhavendra Puri with great devotion. A lot of glorification, the roaring of glorification. And here Krishnaraj Kaviraj Goswami says, Pratisthara Bhaye. Out of fear of Pratistha, Puri Gela Palana. Palana means he's like ran away from Ramana and came to Puri. Krishna Prema Pratistha. But the fact is, if you gained opulence or Pratistha by the blessings of Lord, because of Krishna Bhakti, Chale Sange Gadana. That Pratistha, that opulence will follow you always like a shadow. It will never leave you. So that is why the opulence offered to a devotee will never diminish. Unlike the opulence offered to a materialist or a politician, it will diminish, its kala will take over. But for a devotee, it will never diminish. That is why even during Prabhupada's time, many people tried to defame him. They were so jealous, court cases, so much of troubles. But his reputation never came down. Neither then nor now, after many decades of his physical disappearance. Because this is the opulence gifted to a devotee which will stay forever. So Shastras say, this is the opulence we should strive for. Not for material opulence, which will come and which will go. So this is the beauty of spiritual opulence. In the same way, even we are all benefited by this Krishna consciousness. If we wish to give this Krishna consciousness to others, we need empowerment. And that empowerment should be done by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He has to gift us the Bhakti Shakti. One drop of Bhakti Shakti he gives us. We are enlivened, we are empowered, and he gives us the power to give it to others. This is the importance of empowerment. I'd like to conclude by saying that what is very important in this life is practice of Bhakti Yoga. Irrespective of favorable or unfavorable circumstances. And even this we have to do as a matter of duty. We have to be duty conscious and completely depend on the mercy of Lord. We can't demand anything from the Lord. Oh, I'm chanting 16 rounds for so many years. I've donated this much for the temple. This is my big service I've done. I have to get this. No. It is completely under the wish and will of the Lord. So we should do our seva as a matter of duty. We should do our spiritual duties as directed by spiritual master and completely seek the blessings of Lord, the empowerment from the Lord. And Prabhupada exhibited this mood always. Even when he went to America, Prabhupada is a pure devotee of Lord. If you see in the Jaladuta, he wrote poems. And one of the stanzas says, it exemplifies Prabhupada's surrender and seeking of mercy of Krishna. It says, my Lord, you have got me here to speak. Now it is up to you whether you want to make me successful or failure. I'll only speak what you have said without any adulteration. But it is up to you to make my power of speech acceptable by them. It is up to you to make my words pure so that it can enter their hearts. They feel engladdened and then their material miseries are vanished. My Lord, I am puppet in your hands. If you want me to dance, make me dance. Make me dance as you like. Hare Krishna. Thank you.